If you don't have to move out and you consciously made the decision to move out and you didn't have to, due to feeling like you're behind and that you've grown, no. They have pushed the narrative so bad that you should be ashamed. You're a bum, you're a brokey if you still live with your family or a caregiver or somebody who supports you. And it's actually the complete opposite. You're being smart, you're being responsible. Actually, it's nothing wrong with still living with your family. Why, as soon as you turn 18 or 21, you think you're grown and you just want to go out there? Why are you in such a rush to get adult responsibilities? Now in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, and etc., people are cleaning up their mistakes that they made in their early teens and 20s. There's no manual or script of how to be a grown-up or how to be an adult bestowed amongst you the day of your birthday. It's just, society is so strange. Why are you encouraging or glorifying adult responsibility, adult bills? Like, what are you in a rush for? If you are fortunate enough to still have your parents who are okay with still allowing you to stay with them, and if you need support with something, they are there for you, allowing you to stay with them, there is nothing wrong with that. That is a resource. If you have somebody who isn't your direct parent or a caregiver or whatever the case may be, and you just have someone who's willing to support you or look out for you, that is a resource. Obviously, there's some unicorn situations where, some people aren't fortunate to still have their parents alive. Some people, grew up in the streets or like the system, so they didn't have no choice but to get out there. I know some schools have the baby class and the cooking classes, but the real life skills, those are not taught in schools. How to budget, what's the co-payment, what's insurance, how do I know which insurance to pick? What do I do when I go to the doctors? What do I say? What's my social security? What's an electric bill? How do I pay an electric bill? What's a water bill? What's a down payment? How do I pay for daycare? How am I supposed to work full time and care for my child? Daycare is expensive. How am I supposed to pay for it? If I can't afford something, what do I do? How do I seek resources? When to use credit, when not to use credit, interest rates, a deposit. Where are you gonna get all this money from? Why are you in a rush to get all that? Those are adult skills that you will have to pay for. They make it seem like your only way of being an independent or a boss or smart is if you jump out there and, you get on your own and, you pay your bills. You could be living on your own, but your paycheck to paycheck. So you can't even do anything other than pay your bills. Why do you want to do that? And you don't have to. That's not being stable. It's not being independent, that you're only able to pay your bills and you have no money to do anything else. Again, you're being tricked. It's really the opposite that needs to be portrayed. Not only that, when you are in such a rush to get all these responsibilities and then you catch on like, okay, no, I can't afford this. That's when you get in these bogus ass relationships so you can split the rent with somebody, or these twin them friendships, these friendship besties situations, just so you can split the rent. And you realize, okay, you know what? They're really not a good person. They're really not a good fit, or I really don't like them actually. Where a lot of people can never be alone just because they go from home or their parents or whatever doing everything for them to living with somebody, and then they just get in relationship after relationship after relationship living with them. You don't have to live with everybody that you date. I would never forget when I was looking at schools, my dad kept bringing up this scenario. The scenario that my dad kept bringing up was, you should pick a college that's in the city so you can still stay here and stack. I graduated at 17. I already knew I was going to go to community college. That was always the plan. I finished, got my associates, and that was just time for me to pick my university. I already knew I was going to pick a school far out because I didn't get to do it at first. The 2 years that I was at community college, I didn't live on my own. I lived with my dad. And even that, I thought I was so behind, and like, I can't wait to get out of here. All of my friends were living in their own place, and I thought that was the craziest things, and I already knew like I'm not doing it. Now that I'm older, I absolutely regret that I did not do that. Can you imagine, had I stacked for that time frame, I could have probably bought a house with no payment. I could have bought a car, a brand new car. I could have done so much. If you are living with parents and they ask you for something, it's nothing wrong with that. And now it's a different story if they're charging you what you would pay, if you were to go out on your own. But if they ask you for like $200 or $300, like, that's fair, because it's fair. They're just trying to make you feel semi-adultish to give you practice when you do go out there. And I know some parents, you guys unintentionally, or our parents unintentionally, have like reinforced it to you: 18, you have to get out of my house. Or you guys just want to be grown so bad. We all hear that saying, if under my roof, you're going to have to do what I say. If you don't want to follow my rules, you're going to have to leave. So a lot of us, okay, we're going to leave. Put up with the attitude, be respectful, and still just sit down and have a conversation with your family. If they are presenting, it's my rules. Okay, like, now I am an adult. I still want to be respectful, but let's compromise on things that you'll be comfortable of me doing. When there are things that you don't like, it outweighs how much money you're going to save than how you feel temporarily. So take my mistake. If you are in your early teens or 20s or mid 20s, do not listen to what society is portraying. Again, I know there's going to be unicorn situations where you don't have no choice, or you don't have that option for family support. But if you do, and you are fortunate, I would take advantage. The only time I would say is wrong, or you are a bum or brokey if you're living with your parents or whatever, is if you're living with your parents and you're not working. You literally just eat, sleep,